Hello, this is ANYA USHAKOVA. It is Sunday, August the 9th, 2020. And today I want to talk to you about relationships, intimate relationships between two people. And the three words that come to mind for me of critical importance in really being able to ultimately have a successful relationship, right? And these words are assumption, allowing, accepting. So what about these assumptions? We make assumptions about the other person. And not only, of course, in intimate relationships, in all relationships in life. In all of them. But for this video, I'm not going to tackle the macro. I'm not going to talk about every single kind of relationship on earth. I'm just going to focus in on intimate relationships. So we make assumptions that the other person, the person we fall in love with or are attracted to or want to build a life with, that very person, thinks this or thinks that about us or about anyone else or about anything. I often hear couples say early on when they fall in love, I can finish his sentence for him. I just know his thoughts, and vice versa. Or usually it's the woman who says this, we finish one another's thoughts. I hear it more from women than from men, honestly speaking. He just knows my heart. He knows what I'm going to say. We hardly have to use any words. Well, maybe in the very beginning of falling in love and that kind of a relationship, intimate relationship, we really think we don't need a lot of words, and we don't, because the attraction often is also very physical, and we're very attracted, and we're swooning, and we're just so happy to be together. Understood. But as you stay together, words actually become important, because you'll find that there are means of communication between the two of you that go beyond an intimate setting, but into all the settings of your life together. So, number one, don't make assumptions about the one you're with. Ask. It's better to ask. Always better to ask. So, how do you feel about this? What do you think about this? And wait for the answer. Allow him or her to answer that for himself, for herself. So this is where allowing comes in. Once she starts answering, when you ask the question, whatever the question is that you really want the answer to, allow him to be who he is and give you his truth, and not be afraid of telling you his truth, the truth, his truth. The truth is his truth, not your truth, but his truth. So his truth has to be heard by you, the partner. You may not like what you hear. You may not agree with what you hear. You may want to change how he says it, how she says it. You may want to interpret it in your way. And that's not wise. What you need to do is accept, after you allow him to speak or allow her to speak, her mind, accept what is being said, what you're hearing. It seems simple in a way, doesn't it? I mean, when you hear this, when you hear me saying this, you think, well, of course, we ought not to assume anything. And of course, allow him to speak. Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't have to agree. Right, you don't have to agree, but you have to accept. Remember the three words: assumption, allowing, accepting. This is a lifelong practice if you're going to be in a relationship for your lifetime with someone else, right? For however long it can last. So I'm not just saying these things because I read it in a book. I'm saying these things because I have been in a long-term relationship for a long time. Yeah, long-term relationship, years and years. And before that, in other relationships. So my whole life has been in relationship to the other. And not just my family and friends, but I'm a deep romantic, so I was always falling in love, right? Until I really fell in love and then married and made all sorts of assumptions. Because I was one who said, we don't have to finish each other's sentences. I don't only have to say 2 words and he knows what I mean. And it's like watching a young bride, and I was a young bride, say, all I need is the 2 of us. We don't even have to say anything. Well, it's very different in the very beginning, right? And I'm just saying that with so many divorces and so many couples arguing without the very same thing over and over and over again, don't you think it's time to stop and have a look at the reality of the situation, of what a real relationship is about? A real relationship is about this person is not your twin. You're not physically joined at the hip. You come from 2 different families of origin, perhaps 2 different cultures. One of you may speak multiple languages, the other one only one. I mean, you come from backgrounds that are very different, right, from one another. So you grew up differently, your belief systems are different. And when you actually begin to discover just how different you are, and yet you still want to make your relationship work or your marriage continue on, then you have to really stop assuming everything about the other one. And I mean, even 20 years into it, stop assuming. Because if you continue to assume for the life of your relationship, you will always be stuck in the past. He will never be able to come to you in a fresh way today, to show you how he's changed, perhaps, and you've maybe missed it because you're always assuming this is what he thinks and that is what he thinks. But maybe he's actually grown, right? Maybe he's actually grown. So to be in the present within any relationship means allow the other person to speak and to say what is on her mind. And men, gentlemen, I want to give you a little bit of advice. I know that you speak differently than we do as women. I know that often for you women speak too much and use too many words. Why do they use 10,000 words when I only need 10 to express myself? So don't even question it. We're different from you. Allow her to say it in her way. It may sound this or that to you, or you may get uncomfortable, but just listen. If you really want to hear what she's thinking, then allow her to finish her thoughts. Really important. Don't edit her thoughts. Don't cut her off. Don't dismiss them as unimportant. But listen to her. Allow. Right? And if you do that, you might hear something brand new. Or you might hear something that she's been trying to say for 20 years, or 10 years, or however long, for the first time. And accepting in a relationship means, aha, I can love you anyway. And I do love you anyway. You're different. We don't always agree. I don't always necessarily like what you're doing. I don't necessarily agree with what you're doing. But it's your life, however you choose to live it. I can't tell you how to live your life. I can ask you to try to make our life better by giving thought to something I've noticed, so then you talk about it. All right? So, Sunday thoughts, right? Ladies, gentlemen, think about this. To be in the present time, to see who the woman is that you live with and love and really want to stay with, to discover who she has become after all this time. Why don't you ask her? Be curious, and then be zen, be calm and listen when she tells you something, right? But be curious about who she is and what she thinks, and allow her to speak, and then accept what she's saying. If you can't live with the person whose truth is being spoken in a kind way, of course, always in a kind way, then that's another matter. And that's a subject for another video about how to end a relationship, if that's what you intend to do. How I believe we must try to end a relationship. May not be how what you believe. I have a certain way of thinking when it comes to that. Another video, I promise. But for this one, take what you've just heard today and apply it in your own lives, starting today. It's Sunday. It's a day for poetry and the imagination. It's a day for spirituality. If you believe in God or higher power, the angels, whoever you believe in, and if this is a holy day for you, then be holy within yourself and holy with your partner, and start today. Not assuming, allowing, and then accepting. And see how that changes the dynamic between the two of you. I'd love to know how that works for you. You try this simple exercise, see how it works in your life. Just try it. Try it. You don't know. I'd love to know from you. Leave me a comment. Let me know how it goes for you. Have a wonderful Sunday. I send you my love as always, and offer you courage to be who you are and not somebody else.